Hello, everyone, and welcome to New Consciousness Review. I'm Miriam Knight, and our guest today is Dr. Peter Lambrou, a licensed clinical psychologist in practice at Scripps Memorial Hospital in La Jolla, California. Dr. Lambrou has served as chairman of psychology and is on staff at Scripps. He is the co-author of, among his many books, Code to Joy, the 4-step solution to unlocking your natural state of happiness. And who doesn't want happiness? So I look forward to a fascinating discussion. Welcome, Peter. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much, Miriam. It's really nice to be with you today.
Thank you. Now, Scripps Memorial Hospital is one of over 100 hospitals in the country with programs in energy medicine and energy psychology. Could you please explain to our listeners what energy psychology is and why this is such a major paradigm shift for these hospitals?
Well, energy psychology is taking fundamental awareness that comes from a larger body of work under the rubric of energy medicine and applying it to aspects of psychology. Specifically, what we're looking at is that we understand, and there's very little controversy anymore about the concept that the mind-body is really one thing, not two separate processes. And yet, when we talk about mind-body processes, some people don't quite understand what that really means. And one way of understanding that is the recognition that the body and mind include varieties of energy systems. Now, purely, some people think of energy simply as the manifestation of work, of expending energy. But when we talk about energy from a physics standpoint, we recognize that we're talking about electromagnetic energy, we're talking about a variety of different kinds of energy systems, and the body has energy systems within it. Some of the most fundamental are the ones that we recognize, such as electromagnetic. When people go and have a EEG, a reading of their brain waves, what is being measured is electrical energy. Likewise with an EKG, their heart, it's measuring the electrical energy. There's other energy systems that exist as well that are more subtle, but that's one that most people can identify. And what has been found over the years in research is that the energy that, let's just talk first about electromagnetic energy, is one that depends on organization. And research was done as early as the 40s out of Yale that recognized that the entire body has an electrical polarity. We actually have a positive and negative energy system, much like a battery in a matter of speaking, although we're much more complex than that. And that if that energy system is not organized properly, that we have interferences. And again, to go to something that people can perhaps relate to, is if you had the AM radio tuned to a particular station and you passed underneath some high power lines, you might experience some static for a while. Well, that's an example of how there's interference in that electromagnetic signal. And the body can have interferences as well as a result of a variety of different influences, electrical influences being one. We're bombarded in our society today by the microwaves of cell phone towers. We're affected by fluorescent lights, by the high-power equipment associated with computers and other electrical equipment, as well as other influences that impinge on our biosystem, and we call it a biofield, which is this electromagnetic and other energy systems within the body.
Mm-hmm. And how did you become interested in energy medicine in the first place?
Well, you know, Miriam, I've been in practice now for 25 years, and my colleague and I, Dr. Pratt, have always been looking for processes that help people more quickly, more effectively, and safely. And so we were early on involved in utilizing hypnosis. It's actually how I got my start in psychology, the first book that I wrote on self-hypnosis. And we evolved looking at EMDR, or eye movement desensitization reprocessing, and exploring different processes that could help our clients in those realms of more effective, more rapid, and safe. And about in the I guess it was the early 90s, we came upon some work by Dr. Roger Callahan and some processes he had developed under what was called thought field therapy. And we were intrigued, and we continued to explore with that and evolve that process, which is a foundation of energy psychology, and came up with our first book on the topic, which was Instant Emotional Healing, Acupressure for the Emotions, and had done some research with claustrophobia and these processes, and it was published in a peer-reviewed journal that in a sense convinced us that this was something that really had value and, again, was safe, effective, and help people in a rapid way.
Yeah, you call it instant healing. Yes, it seems almost magical.
Well, I got to say, the instant was our publisher's term. We wanted to call it pretty darn quick, PDQ, but they thought instant was and actually, from the standpoint of traditional therapy, which often involves months or even years of therapy, when you talk about a session or several sessions resolving problems that ordinarily would take months or even years, instant starts to be a relatively accurate term.
Indeed, indeed. In fact, my husband is a hypnotherapist, and he was the one who recognized your name because he has your book. And it really does shrink the time of addressing these issues so dramatically that I think it's something that everybody should know about. That's why I'm so pleased that you're with us today. Now,
glad to be here. And, just to touch on that topic of hypnosis, hypnosis is a tool that does those qualify in that range that I was describing. It is a real leap forward in terms of helping people more quickly, and it's a safe and effective tool. In fact, even now, Dr. Pratt and I incorporate hypnosis along with energy psychology.
I was going to ask you that. We really must talk about your book, which is a 4-step solution, a program that you've developed with really interesting different aspects. Do you ever use that in the state of hypnosis? Is it more powerful?
I would use it more often as a corollary, an adjunct to it, so not so much as an overlap. However, that said, there are some places where some overlap does occur. One of the steps in our 4-step process in Code to Joy, which really works at a deeper level than merely emotional issues on the surface, we really go to the underlying process of beliefs. But one of the processes is what we call anchoring, and that concept comes from NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, but the way that we apply it is a utilization of visualization as well as some of the energy work. So we've incorporated visualization in that process because visualization or imagery is a very powerful part of what hypnosis utilizes to activate change.
Well, I think that people don't realize just how powerful our thoughts are and how they can create health and illness in our body. And part of that thinking, of course, occurs in the subconscious. So that's really the crux of the issue that you're addressing, isn't it?
It sure is. We talk about the flea and the elephant.
I wanted you to tell that story. I love it. Go ahead.
Well, the flea and the elephant is a metaphor for the conscious and the subconscious. And the little word picture that we use is if you imagine a flea on the back of an elephant, and the flea wants to go south while the elephant wants to go north towards the river. Which direction do you think the elephant is going to go? Of course, the answer is the elephant's going to take the flea to the river, regardless of what the flea wants. The flea represents our conscious mind, which, while it has a great deal of capability, by comparison, it doesn't have the power or the strength, you might say, of the subconscious mind in certain areas. And this is actually based on research that has been done. This is research that was done in the 60s by researchers in Germany that identified that the conscious mind functions at about 20 to 40 neuron firings per second, while the subconscious mind processes at somewhere about 1 million to 1, so somewhere between 20 and 40 million neuron firings per second. So if you were putting that in the concept of a computer, which computer do you think is going to have more power? You know, the one that's processing at 40 million bytes per second, or the one that at 40? So the conscious mind is often overridden by the subconscious mind in many aspects of life. Now, I don't want to dismiss the conscious mind too quickly, because it is in the conscious mind that we initiate action that's new. It's where most conscious learning processes occur. You know, the easiest example to understand for most people is, how did you learn to drive a car? Well, you first learned consciously how to maneuver the car and all of the complex, eye-hand coordination, eye-foot coordination, and gradually, over about a 3-month period for most people, that became a subconscious process, and most of us now drive relatively subconsciously. Mm-hmm. And occasionally that gets in the way when we're preoccupied with wanting to go to a particular place, but we're traveling down a familiar road, and we suddenly turn off at our work exit because we've been doing that so often. So the subconscious mind has this tremendous power, but it is relatively unchanneled, in the sense that often goes in directions we don't want to go. And the operating mechanism for that, in one dimension, is the beliefs that we hold about ourselves, about the world around us, and about the future. Mm-hmm. And that's what Code to Joy really addresses, are those fundamental belief systems that we've created based on our early life experiences, as well as perhaps some profound experiences in our adult life that shaped our beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Are these experiences, are the more powerful of these experiences usually traumatic?
Miriam, it's an excellent question. We make a distinction between what we would call major traumas, the kinds of traumas that are typically spoken about with post-traumatic stress disorder, the ravages of war experiences, catastrophic accidents, or victims of crime, the things that we would all look at and go, my, that is a horribly traumatic experience for anybody. We make that distinction that is quite obvious to most people with one that's less obvious, that we call micro-traumas. Micro-traumas are small events, things that might go unnoticed or unrecognized as having an influence, and some of them are so small that it's only a matter of repeated experiences of them that cause the effect. Let me give you a concrete example.
That's what you called resonance, yeah.